Hey, this is Alex Head, founder of Subtext Radio.
This is Subtext.
Please go ahead and click the like button and the subscribe button. It really helps us to reach new audiences and promote the artists that we work with. Hit like and hit subscribe.
This is 199 Radio. You are listening to 199 Radio. This is 199 Radio.
Well, here we're 2 shows in, and up next I'm really excited to introduce the man who's made this all possible. Someone who's done some amazing shows from Berlin and in our studio in London, and has been a part of 199 since it began 18 months ago. For the next hour, I've got a really interesting concept. Loads of great music coming from Alex Head from Subtext. You're listening to 199Global. It's the first ever day we've streamed. Keep it locked in. We're streaming till 8 p.m. from ZKU, and then later from Repeat Bar in Kreuzberg as well.
Subtext, 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 subtext,
subtext,
subtext, subtext, subtext.
10 Jahren, obwohl sie heute vielleicht nicht mehr hier in Moskau wohnen. Dann gibt es andere junge Musiker, die sind vielleicht erst 14 und das erste Mal da. Und weil sie alle hier gut geschützt ihre Grenzen austesten können, fühlt es sich stark so an, als sei es ihr Ort.
Wir befinden uns in einem...
Welcome to Subtext. Tarot cards, horizontal aspirations.
Wir noch nicht wirklich
We had really a lot
wie
of
auf vielen
people that
Ebenen
just
gegeben
taking the
ist,
wrong decisions.
inwiefern wir ein Nachbarschaftszentrum sein wollen und inwiefern nicht.
You're listening to the audio guide Text Subtext, commissioned by ZKU. Our wonderful host for today, Peace.
Like, which I would say is very negative.
For example,
It sounds like a bit of a mess. It's a multi-track piece online which we're releasing today. Collaboration with Lotte Schäfer and the programmer Rafael Polo.
Very different, with their very different beats, and then you see also like
And you can go online to subsku.space and you can find this piece. It's an interactive audio guide that uses 6 pages, 6 tracks on each page. They're all playing at the same time, so you have to kind of make some sort of sense out of it.
Alien to me. For me, a gallery was like a space that you build, purpose-built space, or a space you rented and then you brought art into it or made art from the space. And then looking at this old train station and then the way they transformed it from what it was before, and then the fact that artists could come from all over the world was really inspiring and refreshing for me. So also putting up the first edition of the Lagos Biennial last year, after looking for a space and getting frustrated, coming across an old railway compound which was built by the British in 1897, during like Nigeria's colonial period. It's a massive expanse of land with tons and tons of railway sheds, and we got in contact with an NGO called Legacy, and they gave us access to one massive railway shed and another building. So we use these 2 spaces to house spaces for like a lot of installations and interventions during the biennial. Being this space that holds a lot of history pertaining to Lagos, pertaining to Nigeria, because at some point this railway compound was Nigeria. Before we had like our Senate or anything, it had the Ministry of Justice, had the central bank, the guy who was director was better paid than the Nigerian Prime Minister because he was more useful to the British government. Nobody knew all this history, but it was lying in a train station, which consciously, subconsciously for me, that was ZKU. I mean, using a train station would never have crossed my mind.
Folo Kono Oshun there talking about his inspiration from the ZKU to use additional abandoned railway station in Lagos, Nigeria, when he was curating the Biennale there 2 or 3 years ago. So that sort of sets the scene, I hope, for today's show, which is tarot cards and horizontal aspirations. It's kind of keeping house in a way with horizontally aspirational cultural institution, all of the kind of joys that come with that and all of the pitfalls and some of the sort of traumas maybe as well. And we're going to have a bunch of people to sort of like unpack what that might all mean, some of the challenges that come up, I'd say, on a daily or maybe even weekly basis for people working in these kinds of environments where there's a lot of different value systems, a lot of different expectations, and people are trying to kind of get their own cultural name known at the same time. So there's a bunch of contradictions there, which I think are really interesting and important to keep a track of as we go through. And so we've been lucky enough to be supported by Change Media, who have made a set of tarot cards, which were originally called Typology of Harm, which I thought was a wicked title when I saw it about 5 years ago in Australia, but they're now called What Privilege. So I recommend checking out. The What Privilege cards are online. And we're going to have a bunch of scenarios, and the cards basically outline a series of different sort of nightmare positions that you find in the cultural industry, from the kind of from the kind of tourist artist that doesn't really understand the environment, to the kind of dictator director, all the way through to the bystander intern that doesn't want to stick their oar in because they're scared of the power structures around them and all that. So a little bit, hopefully an interesting conversation coming later. And then we have a remix as well from kind of sort of Berlin legend, really, Markus Stein, aka the DIY Church Radio. He's done a remix of that text-subtext audio guide that we started with. And we'll have a piece also from Critical Mass Mobile from the KUNSTrePUBLIK. So the institution we're standing in now is the child of KUNSTrePUBLIK. It's one of their many projects in Berlin. And it's, you could say, their most kind of architecturally fixed and sort of permanent responsibility. Maybe just to say, like, the ZKU is a residency center. One half of it is about 15 artists from all over the world. They spend between 2 and 8 months here. It's also event space within which the residents are able to make work and engage with the public through open house and lots of different events that are going on, like the one today, Critical Maps, exhibition starting at 2. And KUNSTrePUBLIK have been involved with lots of different public art projects over the years, and I've got to know them through that. And last year we did a piece which was a kind of tour of all the studios that are being evicted in Berlin in the north at the moment. So it was called Critical Mass Mobile. I'll let the piece speak for itself. It's in German though, so maybe I should explain a bit more. And it's kind of like trying to make some sort of event in public that draws attention to, in a way, a shrinking city, a difficult time to find space, a lot of pressure on studios at the moment. So anyway, I hope you enjoy. I hope I don't ramble on too much as usual, and we'll catch up with you later. welcome back. This is Subtext on 199Global, launching today from the ZKU. Before we get into some of these set pieces and we do our little discussion, our little improvisational piece with the tarot cards themselves, I just want to give a kind of shout out. This show is dedicated to like certain characteristics and personalities which come out of the Change Media tarot cards. So a few words of advice and sort of introduction from Change Media. This is out. Shout out to the leaders. How do you dominate or assume you can help others? Shout out to the innovators. How do you enlighten or deceive others to follow you? Shout out to the bureaucrats, my favorite. How do you standardize and restrict life? And shout out to the guardians. How do you avoid or deny conflict? And if we're discussing horizontal organization in Berlin, we have to say, like, massive shout out to the two huge demonstrations I've just been involved in. There was the Will Come United in Hamburg 3 weeks ago. Over 30,000 people. It's a national record for a pro-refugee, anti-deportation protest. It was an amazing event. I was there with Theatre X, another partner for ZKU just down the road. Played like music, theatre coming out the back of the truck all day. It was like one of the most powerful experiences of my life, I think. And then last week, of course, was the Untrennbar, We Cannot Be Separated. There's 250,000 people. Absolutely outstanding turnout for that, and we need to organize now more than ever. This next piece is from MC Josh. This is live from the carnival in Hamburg 3 weeks ago. Shout out to MC Josh, thanks for letting us use your track. Yeah, it was an amazing day. You performed like an absolute queen, man.
Und ich habe einen Song geschrieben, der heißt Skater Queen, der ist relativ neu. Und da erzähle ich über eine Skater Queen. Okay, das ist auch schon das Geheimnis. Let's go! Skater Queen! Cool. Was? Yeah! Du bist eine Queen, eine Königin. In ihrem Block, eine Königin. Queen. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Damals mit 14 holte sie ihr Boot ab. Sie ging zu Titus, der direkt am Alexanderplatz. Dahin fuhr sie mit dem Boot aus dem Keller. Damals schon ein paar Tricks dabei, doch wollte etwas schneller. Wollte etwas schneller und der Olli war geschafft. Dafür hatte sie ihr ganzes Taschengeld zusammengekratzt. Lernte schon den nächsten Trick am nächsten Tag. Aufgewacht, aufgebracht, früh am Morgen volle Fahrt. Haben die Leute oft gefragt in ihrer Gegend, wer die sind. Unverwechselbar wie ein talentiertes Kind. Frei wie der Wind, fühlt sich frei und unbewacht. Fahren die anderen zur Party, fährt sie auf den Skaterplatz. Alles schon geschafft und der Schmerz geht dahin. Egal wie verschrammt ihre Beine heute sind. Gar nicht so einfach sich Respekt zu verdienen. Doch in ihrem Block ist sie die Skater Queen. Ey, freie Fahrt, dein Talent ist aufgewacht. Du machst genau das, was du magst. Sie ist eine Königin, denn in ihrem Block ist sie die Skater Queen. Freie Fahrt, dein Talent ist aufgewacht. Du machst genau das, was du magst. Ey, sie ist eine Königin, denn in ihrem Block, ey, ist sie ein unglaubliches, atemberaubendes Talent. Das schüchterne Mädchen ist nicht mehr wieder zu erkennen. Fühlte sich immer ganz alleine, so wie fremd. Heute möchte sie aus ihrer Gegend jeder kennen. Einmal war sie nichts, aber das ist nicht mehr relevant, seitdem sie das verstaubte Boot bei sich im Keller oben fand. Nun mit ihrem Skateboard verlässt sie das Verlies. So kann sie das Leben spüren, wie es durch ihre Beine schießt. Kann ich das auch? Hat sie ein Mädchen aus der Gegend oft gefragt.
Jeder Mensch hat sein Talent, du musst nur wissen, was du machst.
Aha. Es war nicht einfach, sich Respekt zu verdienen, doch in ihrem Block
bin ich die Skater Queen.
Freie Fahrt, dein Talent ist aufgewacht, du machst genau das, was du magst. Sie ist eine Königin, denn in ihrem Block ist sie die Skater Queen. Freie Fahrt, dein Talent ist aufgewacht, du machst genau das, was du magst. Sie ist eine Königin, denn in ihrem Block ist sie die Skater Queen. Dankeschön. Ich weiß nicht, übertönen wir die noch? Gerade so, oder? Okay.
Also, herzlich willkommen in unser kurzer Augenblick über die Mietekrise in Berlin. Der Titel dieser Programm, diese Sendung ist Critical Mass Mobil und es läuft über eine Performance, man kann sagen eine Kunstarbeit im öffentlichen Raum mit KUNSTrePUBLIK und anderen letztes Jahr in 2017. Der Critical Mass Mobil war ein Kooperationsprojekt mit Florian Schottel, einem Immobilienexperte, Arbeitskreise Raum für Coalition der Freien Szene, Manuel Ehes, und euch, der Publikum. Viele Menschen und viele Polizei auch dabei. Es war letztes Jahr 2017, wie gesagt, und ich finde es ganz wichtig, wenn wir über horizontale Beziehungen und Organisieren Formen reden, unsere materielle und Wohnungsmöglichkeiten zu diskutieren, irgendwie ganz kurz, wie gesagt, in dieses Stück, aber ganz wichtig für jemand und eine hauptsächliche Thema für uns noch.
Etwas langsamer. Wunderbar. Alles gut? Sehr gut, schön langsam. Jetzt gehen wir nach rechts. Wir machen aber einen kleinen Bogen. Wir fahren noch ein bisschen geradeaus. Weiter.
Wir schrappen.
Man kann hier hören, einen Mann und euer Wunsch klar sagen. Man kann hier hören, wie wir wünschen, der Miete zu verstärken. Also ganz langsam bitte, sagt ihn. Und dann, nee, wir haben ein Problem, das ist zu schnell. Also bitte langsamer.
It's very minimal.
Yeah, it's okay. So it's about the same scale as a normal bus. Same
it
size.
Has, yeah, it's the same size.
Same dimensions.
But the name is different. It's Critical Mass Mobile.
Okay.
And also the carbon footprint is much better because it's transformed. There's no, this, how do you say, oil and fossil. There's no fossil energy used, but rather
except for all the plastic that's used to.
Please, it's not
for
so
our listeners who can't see it.
There's no critique on the Critical Mass Mobile.
That plastic is like.
Yeah, that's the point.
It's very modern. It pops up everywhere. Also das war ich und meine Kollege, meine Freund, meine Inspiration, Philipp Horst, ein von der ersten Gruppe in der KUNSTrePUBLIK, über der Wagen reden. Also tut mir leid für mein Englisch, aber wir waren einfach erklären und beschreiben, wie es aussieht. Und es war wie ein normaler Bus, aber es war leer, also niemand und gar nichts war darin. da drin und es konnte nur laufen mit viele Menschen da rein laufen, wie gesagt, sehr langsam. Und es gab natürlich ein paar technische Probleme, aber ich glaube auch, dass die war auch erwartet. Ne? Also es gab immer eine Losung ganz in der Nähe und die Leute waren sehr schnell in seine wie heißt das, Reaction Time. Also es läuft noch weiter und wir waren zwischen vier Atelier Gebäuden, also Studios, Artist Studio Buildings und da haben wir viele Vorträge bekommen und man kann das auch heute, also in dieses Stück hören, über die tatsächlichen Probleme. Das war ein Jahr vor schon, also wie und welche von diesen Atelier noch da sind und was möglich ist. Ich bin nicht der Experte, aber wir suchen immer für neue Plätze zu arbeiten. Also wenn man eine ziemlich billige Atelier hat, bitte zum Subtext schreiben. Das heißt, man kann Subtext finden auf der ZKU-Webseite, Facebook und alle mögliche. Und weiter, wir laufen weiter, ne? Ich soll auch sagen, wegen Intellectual Property, wir hören zu Faded Lady von der SSO Orchestra.
Könnt ihr euch anpassen? Es gut, ein bisschen nach rechts. Jetzt gerade. Stopp. Langsam, ganz zärtlich. Hindurch. Jetzt gerade. Super. Ganz gut.
Sollen wir es ohne probieren? Können uns alle hören? Okay.
Okay, bitte Aufmerksamkeit.
Dann fange ich einfach an. Ich möchte Herrn Frank Bertermann ganz herzlich danken. Das war einer der Unterstützer für uns in der ersten Stunde, hier für den Erhalt der Gerichtshöfe zu kämpfen. Ja, Frank, was findest du wichtig? Was wäre hier erhaltenswert?
Ja, man muss sich die Höfe ja nur angucken, dann weiß man, dass das was ganz Besonderes ist. Und vor dem Hintergrund, dass wir ja eine wachsende Stadt haben, aber auch Gewerbetreibende und Künstler natürlich auch in dieser Stadt in der Mitte die Möglichkeit haben zum Arbeiten und sich eine Existenz aufzubauen, sind wir der Auffassung, also insbesondere auch ich, dass diese Höfe eher als Kunst- und Gewerbestandort entwickelt werden sollen, eventuell mit einem Neubau für Studentenwohnungen, aber dass man nicht sagen kann, die Studentenwohnung oder Wohnen an sich sollten diese Gewerbehöfe in Gefahr bringen, denn es geht darum, dass die Leute hier vor Ort die Möglichkeit bekommen, auch in den nächsten Jahren vernünftig ihre Arbeit und ihre Kunst zu machen und dass sie nicht bedroht werden in ihrer Existenz. Das ist der Grund dafür, dass wir dafür kämpfen, dass die Gewerbehöfe als Gewerbehöfe, weil sie heißen nicht umsonst Gewerbehöfe und nicht Wohnhöfe, erhalten bleiben.
Eyes closed. And that was resonance. Now, repeat after me. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. All the ladies. All the ladies.
Also der Miete in Berlin hat explodiert in die letzten 3 Jahren. Das heißt auch für Ateliers. Natürlich habe ich diese Krise auch Erfahrungen davon und meine Atelier irgendwie verlassen und experimentiert mit einer neuen Bezeichnung, einer Coworking-Platz, das irgendwie ziemlich anstrengend war und nicht wie erwartet, oder man kann vielleicht auch erwarten solche Probleme. Ja, das ist irgendwie dann, was können wir dann tun? Also mein Atelier ist jetzt irgendwie in der Bibliothek oder gerade hier zu Hause, aber ich habe auch in den letzten Halbjahren gearbeitet in einer Flughafen. Ich war unter einem Tisch in der Schwimmbad irgendwie arbeiten einmal und ja, es ist irgendwie krass, einen Platz zu finden, jetzt zu arbeiten in Berlin. Trotz machen wir weiter und mit Radio besonders. Also gut zu sagen und ganz klar zu sein, dass der Critical Mass Mobil nur ein Augenblick über der Mietekrise in Berlin war und dass diese Sendung ist. Also ich lese hier vor von den ZKU, also Official Statement für das Projekt. Die Alliance Bedroher Berliner Atelierhäuser veranstaltet zusammen mit dem Atelierbeauftragten für Berlin diesen intätigen Workshop als einen Auftrag für eine Reihe für Veranstaltungsformaten zu den oben genannten Themen. Mit dem Ziel der langfristigen Wissensproduktion, Vernetzung relevanter Akteure des Feldes sowie der Perspektive der Umsetzung konkreter selbstverwalteter Raum für Kunst, Kultur und Sozialnutzungen. Vielen Dank, KUNSTrePUBLIK und die ganze Netzwerk. Vielen Dank euch für Zuhören und wir sehen einander noch ganz bald, zum Beispiel bei der Haus der Statistik oder beim ZKU oder Theater-X oder irgendwo, da das freundlich und eine gute Diskussion mit verschiedenen Leuten unterstützt. Also bis bald und liebe Grüße. Ciao. That was a 10-minute piece over the Critical Mass Mobile. It's normally 10 minutes, but it's German, so it's 15. So we're just going to have a little stab at some on-air critical analysis. I'm sure there's all kinds of things in my life that have taught me not to try and do this sort of thing, but I thought maybe what we could do is just start with, if you guys are going to kind of pick a role, we could sort of maybe for the listener try and describe what some of these roles are that we've got on these tarot cards. Yeah, one for now. Let's start with one, and then we'll go through a scenario that we've cleverly built while the other piece was playing. So I've got the moderator. I thought that was fairly appropriate. And with moderator comes discriminate humanity. So
I've got workaholic. What a coincidence. Enforce commitment, tireless work.
I took the tourist, exploit generosity, and on. Do I read everything?
Just whatever you want out of it.
Okay, I bring progress. Where you go, things change. You are the harbinger of civilized inevitability. Something like this.
Sounds great.
I am a cultural ambassador. Share your snapshots. And I venture out. It's your world too. You are entitled to be hosted.
Thank you, I think. Cool. And there's another mic over there. Is that one going, Anna? Do you want to do a check?
Check. All right. I chose the card for the injured because I feel like if we're going to talk about problems, we might as well talk about them, which talks about blaming and emotions. On the back, it has a few questions about privileges of the injured. I stay professional. I share their pain, and I am vigilant. Hurt once, won't be fooled again. Find out who is responsible for your past pain.
Thank you. Yeah, I think we've all been a number of these positions already, from injured to workaholic.
I chose the harmonizer because I feel in every group there will be at least one person trying to make everything okay and suppress dissent. I keep it positive, I maintain harmony, and I focus on happiness.
It's so good to have you here today. Thank you.
So I picked the veteran. So I'm anti-fragile and I brutalise sensitivity. I have years of experience. I don't make any discussion. I just show them how it's done. I'm revered and reviled for my tenacity.
Bang, bang. Okay, any more, Alicia? Or
I chose the teacher because I've been traumatized by all my teachers and I always felt punished by them. And I want to punish them back.
Great, let's make a space for that to happen.
I chose director, which also has on the card commandeer. And so I lead with vision to be the moral compass, which as a vegan warrior, I have a very strong moral compass that I like to share or really force on other people. Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. So basically, I think what would sort of take this to the next level is we sort of try and kind of enact in a way like maybe a slightly heated meeting that might be taking place around a particular problem within a cultural institution near you. And one of those scenarios that we've sort of come up with is the way in which, sort of typical kind of voluntary organization, people have to kind of contribute various bits of money in order to keep it all moving. But what happens when the funds aren't being collected properly? Whose fault is it? Where the responsibilities begin, where do they end? And what would your position say, workaholic? Using no names.
I suppose the workaholic would constantly try and put the extra hours in to find new methods to cure the problem, but the problem is maybe that doesn't actually get to the root of the problem or the evil, whereas that's actually an attitude problem, but all you can do is just trying to make more Excel spreadsheets constantly and the problem might be solved.
Okay, interesting. And who else wants to come in on the issue of the non-proper collection of internal funds? This is important stuff, people.
Okay, well, as the veteran character, you just have to get tough with everyone. You wouldn't discuss it. You just go straight to the root of the problem, find what it is, root it out, solve it, and you just tell the rest of your team to toughen up. You have to get with the program.
Okay, thanks. And maybe from the other side of the channel, if there's someone from the Berlin contingent that would want to step up with their character, maybe.
As the injured, I'd probably blame the veteran for the status quo and things not being organized properly, and I don't ever get what I need out of all of the situation.
Yeah. Okay, awesome.
As the harmonizer, I guess I try to promise something to everyone, trying to reallocate the funds over and over again, and probably similar to the workaholic, try to make a new Excel sheet that represents that. But In the end, I guess there's not much more to do than give some to some and shake the hands of others and say thank you.
Yeah. Okay. And then what with the director? I'm dying to see what he is going to do about it.
Well, as a director, I would carry the responsibility, but I think the way to get everyone to kind of put in their funds is to really focus on the kind of moral elements, so really make it clear what the funds will be spent on and really try and get the buy-in from like an emotional viewpoint, because I find emotionally blackmailing people very effective.
Okay, yeah, that's dictating in the cultural industry, definitely. All right, well, that's like, one trial for the cards. Maybe we could jump into maybe a track and then come back for another scenario. All right, lovely. Welcome back to stage 3 of the subtext show Tarot Cards and Horizontal Aspirations. We're not here to kind of wring our hands or get too over emotional about it and then go off tweeting about it for 2 weeks. But I think it's important when you do these projects to try and keep the balance of the good and the bads and the ups and the downs as it comes. And sort of to try and support each other through conversation. And I think one of the most toxic things is when people feel they can't speak, or they feel that I've been given the card of the bystander now, so maybe I'm just internalizing that. But the words that come with that are ignore courage. And I think what really helps is when things are up on a global radio stream. That's obviously the best place to have these conversations. It's what happened to privacy anyway. But so our next scenario, if you're just joining us, we're going through the tarot cards, What Privilege, from the Change Media Collective in Australia. And we've each sort of taken a role that you might find if you work in the cultural industry, or as Freddie was saying, in basically almost any job, really. These sort of potentially toxic positions that can come out to do with, like, not being in dialogue with each other, or sort of like power structures that get completely out of hand over a period of time. So we've been through, what happens if the internal funds aren't being collected properly. Our next subject is what to do if you find that there's bullying in your institution. That is kind of, and bullying's always a complicated subject because it works through all kinds of different weird sort of mechanisms and sort of like speaking to people in certain ways that other people can't read the content of. But yeah, so I mean, I'm the bystander. Obviously, as a bystander, if I see bullying, I don't do anything. But what happens if you're the workaholic or the commander? Or I'm interested to hear. How do you deal with that problem?
I'm the tourist. I didn't say much the thing before, but you should be happy and feel privileged that I'm here. And I just want to have fun because it's my free time. And you should take my money and make these things be better. Is that so difficult?
Workaholic. On one side, potentially head down and like try and separate oneself from it because there's so much to do. But at the same time, that potentially makes you quite susceptible to be bullied because maybe there's sometimes a lack of emotional engagement there because you're more about getting tasks done rather than the humanistic side of the organisation. And so even though you might want to turn away from it and just get on with what you've got to do, you could actually end up being the bullied one and then struggling to know what to do with it unless you change to a different tarot card, I suppose.
Very nice, yeah.
I'm a teacher and I'm constantly bullied by my students. I really want to quit my job.
So as the veteran back in my day, I remember bullies, we tackled them head on, one-on-one. And I think, that's what we're missing these days. There's too much of this, we all have to get together and fight them as a group. But, I don't know, where's our, hindsight gone? We really, we need to just toughen up and work through this.
Shit. Anyone else from the Berlin contingent wants to step on this one?
I'm the harmonizer, and I would say choose your words wisely. As long as they're all nice, the positive reports will win. So I would probably just throw a big dinner, give some nice food to everyone, and try to not rock the boat any further. On the other hand, being the harmonizer means putting in a lot of my own emotions, sucking up a lot of the bullying, and sort of trying to keep the boat steady. So most likely I won't be bullied in the group, but maybe back at home I'm pretty depressed.
Thank you.
So coming in as the injured, I didn't go to the dinner because I was too shamed for speaking up.
And then as a director, because I carry the responsibility and I lead with vision, with the card, again I think I would approach it by using my moral compass to impress what I think upon the bully, to basically get the bully to have some empathy for the person they're bullying. So I think that's the kind of interesting about the bullying relationship, is that often the bully doesn't even realise they're doing it, and also the person who's being bullied to have a stronger sense of self-respect and strength to fight against the bully.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, Alicia, you're really taking a constructive role in all of this. I really appreciate that someone's actually yeah, it is. I mean, it totally is, and it's something which we sort of, hopefully don't have to encounter too often in our lives. Thank you all so much for your honesty and for contributing to this. I hope it's been of some interest, at least some use perhaps in the future. The tarot cards are available from Change Media. I personally can see a lot of different applications, and they've got a bunch of different games on their websites that you can kind of employ in group situations, in certain sort of environments where you think maybe it's necessary and constructive. So coming into the last 10 minutes of the show now, I knew it was going to be a busy one, and it is. And I just wanted to officially launch again the text-subtext audio guide made with Lotte Schaefer, who runs the residency here, you've been hearing already. Yeah, that's available. ZKU, I should be able to remember that at least. ZKU.space. You can find that work now. And we've got live in the studio DIY Church. Markus Stein is going to do his remix of the audio guide itself. Yeah, whenever you're ready, Markus, take it away.
Context. 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 Context.
Empathy. Empathie ist eines der meistgenutzten meiner Werkzeuge,
da mein Alltag auf viel emotionaler Arbeit basiert.
Global discourse and local reality.
From the usual art scene.
The shower, because it clogs every time. This is also where artists come in because they...
Projects.
And...
I'm an artist.
Okay.
To reach out geographically into the world.
Scene.
I hate the people, I hate the kitchen.
Artistic projects.
And...
Art scene.
I hate the people, I hate the kitchen.
Artistic projects.
And... I'm an artist.
Okay.
Reach out geographically.
Artistic projects.
And I'm an artist.
Okay.
We had to reach out geographically into the world.
Like I hate the shower because it clogs every time. This is also where artists come in because they have a particular, let's say, a curious look at how cities function. They have... more experimental approach.
The phenomenon of the city and its societies.
I'm doing my job. This is also a social question. A question of taking the wrong decisions. And I think things have improved. It's a social question. One. Point is, size matters. Business.
Also wie kann man etwas verstehen?
A lot of emotional labor.
Created a platform for me in many ways.
Yes, experimental because we all don't of taking the wrong decisions. And I think things have improved. It's a social question. One point is, size matters. Business.
Also wie kann man etwas verstehen?
A lot of emotional labor.
Created. Platform for me in many ways.
Yes, experimental because we all don't come from any kind of background. The
are not happy most of times. The interns are not happy most of times. The interns are not happy most of times. The interns are not happy most of times. Interns are not happy most of times. The interns are not happy most of times.
This is also a social question.
A lot of emotional labor.
People come and bring their sleeping bag and stay in the gallery. The gallery gets full of sleeping bags sometimes.
Because the park is used.
We are also maintaining a house.
Work becomes inefficient and frustration comes out, and this is where you have to start thinking about structure.
Or maybe I do it the other way around.
The instrument that makes it possible for people to connect.
Ja, mein Name ist Philipp Horst. Ich bin dieses Self-Empowerment.
Very different people with their very different needs.
If you travel, you need so many people and you open your eyes.
Different people with their very different needs.
If you travel, you need so many people and you open your eyes.
Different people with their very different needs.
Discourse.
Different people with their very different needs.
If you travel, you need so many people and you open your eyes.
Different people with their very different needs.
If you travel, you need so many people and you open your eyes, your ears, and your mind.
And then you see also like there are divisions, there are lines.
Right, so it wasn't really our choice, but we did have to become more social workers.
Display of contemporary societies.
Wie qualifiziert und kommuniziert man etwas in einer leistungsorientierten Gesellschaft, das ausschließlich ein Prozess ist?
Forever, 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 ever, forever, ever, forever, 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 ever, forever, forever,
dialogue between the decision-making, strong conversation and dialogue between the decision-making is really slow, there's frustration because you expect and
really there isn't a lot of rating. It really depends on, if what you're doing resonates.
Ich bin
really our choice.
The decision making is really slow. Decisions.
Thank you so much, Markus. Amazing. That brings our subtext to an end for today. It's been a nice show. Thanks so much, everyone who participated. The clown, the little dog, the monkey on the roof. It's been amazing. Just a couple of shout outs just to say peace to everyone in London, Willy One Time, aka Ramen Radio, to Freddie and Lee for keeping it all together, and everyone in London, thank you so much. Peace out to Anna and to Lotta and to Markus here in the studio today. And also to Nathan. Shout out to Ellis down in London as well. Shout out to everyone who's been pushing to get this thing to actually happen. It's amazing. Thank you so much. Cheers.